From two Brazilian politicians going head-to-head in a ring to settle scores, to a martial arts instructor taking his fight to the Gangnam Style, here are some funny moments that have marked the sport in recent years. After playing a game with his team, Juventus midfielder Weston McKennie was about to answer questions from an Italian journalist. Of course, he hoped that the questions would not be too difficult for him and that he would be able to answer them easily. But he didn't expect the reporter to ask him his question in Italian. Look at the reaction of the American player who makes round eyes in front of the camera. Faced with this situation, Weston McKennie obviously could not do anything, as we can see. But fortunately for him, the journalist understood English, and the latter ended up translating his question. Phew! We can say that Weston McKennie had to make some efforts to try to understand everything because the Italian journalist spoke English with an accent. Moreover, he spoke quickly. But the American player finally understood his question and answered it. However, his amazed look made him a star of social networks for the Juve fans. His funny reaction will be remembered for a long time. Simão Peixoto is the mayor of Borba, a municipality in the state of Amazonas, Brazil. Although his main objective is to improve the image of his city, something that all politicians want. However, this man had to face the criticism of a former city councilor. What this man criticized the mayor of Borba for was the management of a seaside resort that is considered the main tourist attraction of the municipality. The mayor was probably not managing the resort well enough, and to top it all off, he was even threatened with a good beating by his former councilman. But the mayor was not intimidated by the former councilor, and he even said he was ready to settle the dispute with him in the ring, which is what happened. The two men met in the ring to settle their accounts, in the presence of a referee and the fans, of course. The mayor ended up winning this mixed martial arts fight in 3 rounds, despite some blows given by his opponent. However, we can see at the end that he is quite fit. He even seems to have forgotten about this dispute as he greets the former city councilman with a nice hug. All's well that ends well, but it turns out that the real reason behind the fight was something else. How so? Well, according to the mayor of Borba, this fight was actually a way to promote sports. A good way to promote physical activity. But anyway, it was not to everyone's taste, and this fight earned the mayor as well as his opponent some criticism from the public, who reproached the two politicians for having made politics a cage fight. What do you think? At the 2021 Copa America, Neymar was playing a match against the Argentina team that he had hoped to beat. But at one point, that dream seemed to close to utopia for the poor player when he found himself sitting on the pitch for being pushed, presumably by an Argentine player. Look at him protesting and asking for explanations for this new fall that has just been added to his already full list of achievements. But he was eventually relieved, probably without him realizing it, by another player of the opposing team, which made him the laughingstock of everyone on the field and in front of the millions of viewers who followed the game live. Watch this unusual scene. By now, Neymar has probably forgotten this fall for a long time, but in my opinion, this will have taught him from now on to reduce his falls on the pitch a little. Enough falling, Neymar. During a basketball game, American player Tracy Young grabbed the ball and ran to the opposing team's basket to shoot and improve his team's score. But just as he was about to shoot the ball, he suddenly found himself face down. Watch how it happened. The player was caught by basketball player Dwight Howard, who was running behind him, a little too fast so he couldn't break in time. But Tracy Young quickly recovered and started to do push-ups on the court, masking by these movements this embarrassing fall he had just suffered. Bye-bye the ball and the points though. But Tracy Young eventually got up and continued the game in hopes of scoring more points. What is certain, however, is that this player was able to make an impression with his remarkable reaction. During a match he was fighting, this boxer was, as you can see, all eager to beat his opponent. But despite this enthusiasm, this player must have felt that something was wrong with his right foot, but he ignored the sudden discomfort and continued to play, managing to dodge shots and score more. This only added to the discomfort in his foot, which eventually slipped off. That's right, this poor boxer lost his shoe in the middle of a boxing match, triggering laughter among the commentators. Look at this. Do you think that it bothered the boxer? Not at all, or at least he didn't let anything show and continued his match after he was given his lost shoe as if nothing had happened. On the other hand, the video of this unusual moment was so widely viewed that this boxer ended up making the buzz despite himself. The Colombian footballer Yerry Mina is well known for his dance steps that he enjoys doing on the pitch after scoring a goal. During the quarterfinal match between Colombia and Uruguay, the defender of the English club Everton FC was hoping to win with his teammates this decisive match to move on to the semifinals and perhaps win the cup so dreamed by the teams. Except that the match turned out to be a bit tough to play and it ended up in the penalty shootout. Watch as Yerry Mina prepares to score a point for his team. There he goes, and bang! The ball goes into the net of the Uruguayan goalkeeper. To celebrate the goal, Yerry Mina did one of his famous dances, not without making this comical gesture with his finger. If this dance and his movements amused the internet users, they did not fail to annoy some, including footballers like Messi, who did not hesitate to make fun of the Colombian player after he missed his penalty in the penalty shootout during the match Argentina-Colombia. But despite these unflattering comments, it will not prevent Yerry Mina from continuing to dance on the pitch. Well, to each his own way of celebrating his goals. But even if he did not win the cup with his team this year, Yerry Mina has still become a star on the web thanks to his dance. Now look at this martial arts instructor who, it seems, is concentrating on his opponent. At first glance, he hopes not to receive a hard blow, but this opponent is getting closer and closer to him. He is even about to give a good blow. What does this instructor do then? Look, hilarious, isn't it? After having fooled his opponent, he took him by surprise by doing some steps in the rhythm of Gangnam Style, before giving him a good blow where he should not. He then retired as a clown, much to the amusement of the others. However, he must have quickly regretted this moment of amusement when he saw his comrade on the ground, struck down by pain. It would not be surprising if the latter had gotten angry at him or had returned the favor after this blow. But in any case, the instructor has certainly reconciled with his comrade and perhaps already forgotten this story. Nevertheless, thanks to this demonstration that is not like the others, this man has largely made the buzz on the internet. The American basketball player, Dwight Howard, who now plays with the Los Angeles Lakers, was playing a game with his former team, the Philadelphia 76ers. A game like any other, you will tell me. Yes, but while he was reaching the sensitive zone to try to save the basket of his team against the shot of the opposite team, his shorts tore. Take a look at how it happened. The player holding him by his shorts had to pull so hard that the garment ripped. Faced with this embarrassing situation, Dwight Howard could not do anything and simply showed his torn shorts. Of course, he was able to draw attention to what had just happened to him, but in return, the former Philadelphia 76ers player was sanctioned for a technical foul. As if that wasn't enough, not only had he just lived an embarrassing and almost humiliating moment on the floor, but this foul had to be added too. What could, however, reassure him and reduce somewhat his embarrassment? It is the pants which he wore under the shorts. Fortunately for him, because we don't know what the player's reaction would have been like. That's right, that day, Dwight Howard passed for a really unlucky player. But this sequence became viral on the internet and on social networks, made him the laughingstock of this game. Poor Dwight. Here is a young wrestler who is about to fight a fight he hopes to win with all his might. But he won't even have to use force in this fight. How? Look to understand. One could have sworn that he didn't even put his hands on his opponent. All he did was a simple gesture with his hands toward his opponent, who then threw himself backwards as if pushed by some magical force. Incredible. But for the young wrestler, all that mattered was to have won the match. Yes, he had just won the most wonderful and shortest match in the history of wrestling. But wait, young man, don't celebrate too soon. Indeed, you can see the referee run up and probably call a foul on the so-called winner. What a shame. Well, the young wrestler must have resumed the fight against his opponent, if the latter finally got up, of course. And forget about the so-called foul. And even if he wouldn't have won this fight, he gained a huge number of views on the internet. His video was widely viewed on the web, and some internet users even had fun claiming that the young wrestler had used the famous Kamehameha technique, Son Goku's attack in the famous Dragon Ball manga. At the 2019 Pan American Jiu-Jitsu Championships, young Brazilian athlete Maisa Bastos was about to compete in a match, ready to do anything to get a big win. Except that her opponent was the Italian Serena Gabrielli, another well-known athlete in the jiu-jitsu world. Well, it wasn't going to be easy for her to face Gabrielli, but with an effort and a coolness that can be very well noted in the video, Maisa Bastos managed to control the game well. On the other hand, that had reason of her kimono, which opened to let discover her bust. A small moment quite embarrassing for the Brazilian sportswoman. It happened in 2019, as we said, and the young woman has probably already forgotten this disturbing moment. But her photos taken during this game still continue to circulate on the net. Difficult, therefore, for her to get rid of this embarrassment forever. Ah, the usual moments of sports. You have just seen a compilation of funny, embarrassing, and striking moments in different sports. Tell me, which of these moments amused you the most? Leave us your answers and impressions in the comments, and as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video.